They say you'll feel it when something's off, like an instinct deep inside you. I didn't want to believe that. When I looked at Ellie, I still saw the girl I fell in love with. The wild smile, the messy bun, the way she always hummed under her breath while cooking. But recently, that humming had faded. Her laughter, once warm and effortless, now fell hollow, and her phone was glued to her hand. I tried to chalk it up to stress, work, maybe even the seasonal blues. I wasn't the type to overthink things. I never had been. But the night I saw her unlock her phone and smile at a message she quickly swiped away, that's when the gnawing began. I didn't confront her right away. I told myself I was just being insecure. I gave it a few days, hoping the unease would pass. But it didn't. The distance between us grew, slowly but surely. Less eye contact, shorter kisses. No, I love you, unless I said it first. Something was wrong, and I couldn't ignore it anymore. I hated myself for it, but one evening, while she was in the shower, I checked her phone. I knew what I was doing was wrong, but I needed the truth more than I needed to hold on to the illusion of peace. What I found crushed me. Under the name Lena from HR, there was a thread filled with weeks of flirty messages, inside jokes I wasn't part of, and photos I never wanted to see. She wasn't just slipping away from me. She had already left quietly behind my back. That night, I didn't scream. I didn't pack my things or lash out. I just lay there beside her, staring at the ceiling, my heart sinking deeper with every beat, wondering how long she had been looking me in the eyes and lying. The next day, I found myself sitting alone on the porch. Kayla, Ellie's sister, was the first to notice my silence. Kayla and I had always been friendly, never close, but she could see the change in me before anyone else. "You okay?" she asked softly, sitting down next to me. I hesitated. "She's been seeing someone else," I said, my voice barely above a whisper. Kayla's eyes widened. "What?" I nodded, my stomach twisting in knots. "It's not just flirting. It's real. She cheated." Kayla sat in stunned silence, her hands clenched in her lap. "You didn't deserve that," she whispered. "No," I said, my voice barely audible. "I didn't." And that's when it hit me. What I needed wasn't rage. I didn't want to scream or trash her name. I wanted her to feel what it was like to be discarded, to see what betrayal looked like when the tables were turned. I wanted her to understand the weight of her actions. "Do you remember that rooftop place Ellie loves?" I asked Kayla, my mind already working. "The one with the lights and live music?" Kayla nodded slowly, her expression softening. "You want to grab dinner there tonight?" I asked. She blinked, surprised. "You serious?" "I need air," I said. "Good food, and maybe a little poetic justice." Kayla didn't say yes right away, but I could see it in her eyes. She understood. We weren't here to get even, not really. We were here to be seen. The rooftop restaurant sat atop an old building downtown, its fairy lights twinkling just like Ellie used to when she was happy. The view was beautiful, and the food was always good, but it wasn't just about the food. It was the memory that made it special. This was the place Ellie and I had our first date, and now I was sitting across from her sister, wondering if it would feel wrong. But when I looked at Kayla, quiet, composed, clearly nervous, I didn't see revenge. I saw someone who had been hurt just like me. Kayla wore a dark red dress, simple and elegant, nothing flashy, but it caught the light in just the right way. I noticed occasional glance our way, some people smiling, assuming we were a couple. It was strange how easy it was to pretend. But beneath the surface, there was still a quiet pain between us. "You know," Kayla said after the appetizers arrived, "I used to think Ellie was incapable of lying." I nodded. "Me too." She took a breath, and her voice trembled. "I always told her, if she ever got bored or unhappy, just talk to you. You're not hard to love." That hit harder than I expected. I stared down at my drink, trying to swallow the lump in my throat. Ellie hadn't just broken my heart. She had shattered it. She had left pieces of me everywhere. Kayla looked around, then leaned in slightly. "She's at her friend's place tonight. Still lying to everyone. Mom doesn't know. Dad doesn't know. She acts like nothing's wrong." Of course she did. That was Ellie's way. Polite on the outside, chaos on the inside. She could smile through anything, even betrayal. The server brought our entrees, and the soft notes and acoustic set filled the background. For a moment, it almost felt like a scene from a movie. Then my phone buzzed. Ellie's name flashed across the screen. "Hey, where are you?" I thought we were watching that new Netflix thing tonight. My hands tightened around the phone, and I turned it slightly so Kayla could see. She let out a soft, disgusted laugh. Unreal. I tapped out a response. Slow and deliberate. It wasn't meant to be cruel. Just a photo. A photo of our table. The candlelight. The skyline. And in the corner of the frame, Kayla's hand holding her wine glass. I hit send. No words, just the image. Within seconds, Ellie's reply came through. "What the hell?" And then, "Is that Kayla? Are you serious?" Kayla's phone buzzed too, and she glanced at it, then set it down without replying. "She's spiraling," Kayla said with a smirk. I exhaled slowly. Good. It wasn't about revenge anymore. Not really. It was about showing Ellie that the world she had taken for granted, the one where I'd always be there, waiting for scraps of her attention, was gone, and in its place was someone who wouldn't beg for scraps anymore. Someone who was finally ready to move forward. The aftermath came swiftly. That night, my phone didn't stop buzzing. First came the angry texts, then the guilt trips, and finally the desperate calls. Ellie couldn't believe I betrayed her. The irony nearly made me laugh. She'd shattered us, and now she was upset because I wasn't letting her sweep the pieces under the rug anymore. Kayla and I didn't stay long after dinner. We didn't hook up. We didn't even hold hands. It wasn't about that. After dessert, we stepped outside into the cool night air and just stood there for a while, both of us watching the city lights flicker like the stars above. "Thank you," she said quietly. "Not just for dinner, for not making it gross." I smiled. "You're not just a prop in my revenge plan, Kayla. I just wanted company. Real company." She nodded. I needed it, too. We hugged. Nothing more. Nothing less. When she got into her ride share, I stood there a little longer, feeling something I hadn't felt in weeks. Peace. The next day, Ellie showed up at my place. No warning. She was in joggers, her hair a mess, no makeup, nothing like the polished version I used to know. She looked smaller, somehow, like the weight of her decisions was finally pressing down on her. "You went out with Kayla," she said, her voice cracking halfway through. "Why would you do that to me?" I didn't rise to it. I didn't yell. I just opened the door wider and said, "Come in. Let's not do this on the porch." We sat across from each other in silence until she broke. "It was a mistake," she said quietly. "Okay, I thought we were drifting. I didn't plan it. It just happened." I folded my arms. "It happened twice, and you lied about it both times." She seemed to shrink, like she knew she couldn't escape anymore. "I wasn't even mad at first," I said, "just confused. But you made it worse every step of the way. I didn't want to hurt you. You did, over and over, then expected me to wait around like nothing happened." Her eyes welled up. "But with Kayla, she's my sister." I leaned forward, calm but firm. "You don't get to be jealous anymore. You gave up that right when you threw us away." She sat back as if I had struck her. "I didn't sleep with her," I added. "Not that it's your business now. I took her to dinner. We talked. That's all. Are you trying to get with her now?" "No," I said, "but I wouldn't apologize if I did." Her silence told me she understood. I stood. "I'll always wish things were different, but I won't hate myself to make you comfortable." When she left, she didn't slam the door or scream. She just walked out, quiet, like she knew it was over for good this time. Weeks passed.